Alright, Lance, today we have a bit of an interesting idea, and that's what if Magik was a Season 9.5 or a Season 10 hero in this game? So, as you know, she released at the beginning of the game, and I think that's definitely a good thing because otherwise she would not be, in my eyes at least, as popular as she is now because she's had such a rise in popularity over the last year and so. Year and a half after this game is released, as more people have learned of her because you know she died for 14 years and then got resurrected in like 2007. And although she was on Scott's X-Men team, part of the Phoenix Five, um, and became a mainline X-Men hero. Unless you read the comics, which I think most people don't now, actually. You wouldn't know anything about that, you know? So I think it is a good thing she released at the beginning of the game, but this is just a purely theoretical idea. What if she released now? Well, as we've seen a lot recently, a lot of characters now have a lot more abilities. Back then, and still technically now, if you include Cyclops, um, a lot of characters only have like 3 abilities. And that's all you really need, yeah. But as with Overwatch, for example, another game that has had very similar things, um, heroes get more abilities, and these old ones with 2 or 3 abilities, they can still stay competitive. Sometimes, in like Overwatch, for example, Cass is normally pretty good. He only has 2 abilities. Um, And a lot of, well, this game is much younger, for example, so a lot of these heroes only have 3 or 4 abilities at most. So she'll definitely have another ability. I'm going for 5 abilities. I'm going to keep all of these. I think these are fine, the slash, the dash, and the portal. Um, but let's say, magic is, well, in all intents and purposes, magic. She can do magic. She was even once thought of as the Sorcerer Supreme. Like, she could have gotten that job at one point, and she literally can time travel and everything. And she's beaten Dormammu. And you might go, who the hell is Dormammu? He's the guy from Doctor Strange 1. He's the floating head guy. And fucking Benedict Cumberbatch goes, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. And he does that so many times that Dormammu's like, oh, fuck this, I'll just piss off. Um, and you might think, oh, that guy's kind of shit. Like, what kind of feat is that? In the comics, this man is fucking insane. Dormammu is insane. Um, it's a miracle that a novice of Strange. It's a miracle he was able to beat him in the MCU. Like, if he had any passage of time beforehand, bro would have been absolutely cooked. But nah. So that is probably her best feat, I'd admit. But she is insanely powerful. So what I was thinking is something similar to um the. Well, I should probably get so I can better show it. That one. This is the one that sort of like slows enemies a little bit, um, makes them go a little bit slower, something like that. Brings them down. And I don't think she should have the pull ability, the pull down ability, but something that she like casts a spell or something, and it causes the opponents to um become slowed. Just something like that. While that is pretty good, and it is, I can see, definitely could be quite the issue. It solves one of her biggest issues, and that's she's pretty bad at spacing. The reason why Strange Team Up is preferred a lot of the time over Hood Team Up is because it pulls all the enemies together. Um, and that helps a lot because it makes it harder for them to run away and allows her to get some more damage and potentially even a kill and stuff like that before she gets out. Um, and that solves her biggest issue, which is enemies just being able to get away from her. It's been one of the biggest issues since the beginning of the game. So, that could be a really good way of both lore-wise, it's a magical ability, makes sense, magic. Um, but also it's a really good way of getting doing away with this like really big issue of hers, and you know it's not that much of an issue when you get to play the character a little bit more. You get um, to understand her a little bit more. You'll be able to combo people easier, so they won't live. You know, so there's no reason for them to be running away from you, or if they do get away, they'll probably be 1 HP, and unless they get into the team, your teammate can come in, pick them off, something like that. Um, but especially for like lower ranked players, this could be really good for them. It helps solve her biggest issue. And it's just an extra ability, and even if it's not that great, even if people think, oh, this is not as good, um, it's another option. you know? And options are really good because even if it's not great, if you can do it, it's better than not having it. So, but that's just one of the abilities. What would the other be? This Panther team up. So this Psylocke used to have this as well. I don't know if she actually has it now. She might not, but she used to back when this was still in the game before they brought it back. And basically, if you were to dash, you can come back. And for Panther, it puts a mark on them and stuff like that. So that is really good for him, and for Psylocke as well when she had it. So why doesn't Magik? This was, I'm pretty sure, if I remember, a team up that was in the game when it launched, or at least it came in like season 1 or something like that. Why didn't she have it? Like, she doesn't need it to this extent. Like, this I'd say is quite insane. Even if it's just like a second or two of teleporting backwards, that's still really good because she's really good at contesting point. Like, she's really good at contesting point. Um, and so you might think like, why would she need this? If she's already really good at contesting point, why would we make her even better at it? Why the hell not? Like that's the fun of it. This game is already insanely imbalanced. Why don't we just play into that even more? Um, I'm just joking there. Like, we really do need to work on the balance of this game, but still, like this could be really good. It could help against things like bad engage, for example. If you miss, for example, if I go back to if I'm going for this Luna and I miss dash, I could teleport back. I don't need to waste a portal. Um, well, I don't need to waste the stepping disc here, because those are really good. Like, and although, for example, if you charge dash and you don't have a target, use the stepping disc to cancel it, obviously. Um, but you don't really want to be wasting it because if Groot ults, for example, and your team is here and it's coming in right there, get out. You know. Alternatively, you could use it as a way to get out as well of the Groot team up, but it's easier to keep the regular portal in my opinion. So that could help if bad engages getting out. Um, it could help with contesting point, and she can time travel. That is the entire point of it. Like it works lore-wise. It's not like some random thing I've come up with. She spent ages training with a past version of Doctor Strange in order to get more powerful with her magic. Constantly time traveling, you know? Like, why isn't this a feature in the game? This would be great to have in the game, but no. And then if even if it does come, like say this is a team up in season 12, for example, it would be a team up. So it's not a actual ability. It's not a proper thing that she can do because team ups are temporary. You know, at the moment every character has two, and they might increase that to three, maybe even four. But I reckon as time goes on, these team ups are going to eventually one day leave the game permanently. And I could be wrong about that, but I think that's probably what will happen. And so, what is the point in keeping and making it a team up? Like, why can't we go back to some of these characters? Some characters have been reworked, you know? Well, one character has been reworked, Widow, you know? Much needed, really much needed. What what the fuck? A Star Wars character. Oh god, my aim. I did not warm up before this. Um, Widow definitely needed this, and Wanda, I think, well, she's getting like a similar thing next, well, next half a season, sort of. Like they're changing how I think it's one of the team ups, how one of the team ups works, in order to make it better. Which I think is really much needed. So, and while these characters definitely need abilities, Magik is in a really good spot. If you don't know, she's like always got like a 53% win rate, like all the time. Across all ranks, all modes, stuff like that. It's always like 50%. She's always got one of the highest win rates in the entire game. But like, it would be cool if we go back to some of these characters, some of these older characters, and give them new abilities, not just the ones that actually need it, you know? And I guess if the counterpoint to that would be if we give every character a new ability, all the old ones a new ability, then even if it solves the issue with a bad character like Wanda, for example, even if it solves the issue and she becomes good, some characters have to naturally be bad. And so, if we're going by this logic, surely they get a new ability. And that's why this is all just a, a thing of mine. Like, that's why it's not. That's why I don't do stuff like this. Like, it's why I don't do game design or anything like that, because I know I probably make the characters broken. Um, like, but it's an interesting idea, you know? What if these older characters had a new ability? What if everybody in the roster had 5 abilities minimum? That could be an interesting idea. Um, for example, Spider-Man, that could actually be sort of bad. Like he's got 3 abilities, 4 if you count the team up. But at least for me, I've got swing on this. This is a regular normal swing, but I've also got easy swing on B. And then I've got regular pull on RB, and I've got, if I go here, I've got the other one on here. And the reason for that is just because it's easier for me to play like that. And it's actually technically better because you can do more combos and stuff like that. Um, and so for a character like Spider-Man, where you have to change the settings in order to get the most amount out of him, that could be potentially bad. But for the very vast majority of characters, unless it's Spider-Man or Black Cat, because for Black Cat as well, I've got two abilities where if I press B, I get the Helm of Hades to make me invisible. If I press Y, I get that. So on some characters, it's a drawback. But Black Cat already has four main abilities, five team up. So it can work. You know, I've done the same amount of things to Black Cat as I have Spider-Man. I've changed two buttons. You know, I don't have a second melee button, but who the hell needs one? You know, this is a melee hero. And so is Spider-Man. So technically, yeah, it can actually work. If everybody in the roster, so far to my knowledge, had five abilities minimum, it could potentially work. Apart from maybe Black Cat and Spider-Man, because I'm pretty sure every single button of mine is being used. So those are the only two that could use four. So maybe four minimum. No, that's actually probably better. Four minimum. I think that could be an interesting idea. And so it brings me back. What if she was the season 9.5 or the season 10 hero? You know, that could be interesting. 4, 5 abilities. It could sort of work like the hood team up, where you place something down, and this guy maybe the hood team up gets a buff, you know, because a lot of people still use Strange, and that's just because it helps, you know, it helps get rid of her biggest issue, which is people just running away from her. Which is why it's still preferred over the hood team up, even though in theory, you know, you could get a hell of a lot of demons in here, you know, and do a bunch of damage. But the strange one is still preferred. So maybe they could buff the team up with Hood to make it slow. You know, that could be sort of interesting. And they are buffing team ups nobody uses. Like they buffed Gamma for Strange. You know, for next season, I'll go cooldowns on for this one. Strange for Gamma, build up a little bit. Oh, yeah, it's 8 seconds. The normal one, if I go to the invis, I build it up. Normal one is 6 seconds. So yeah, it gets rid of the anti-heal he receives. But the invis one is usually better because, well, it brings people in. Fuck me. And it also has a 6-second cooldown. It has the normal cooldown. And this is one of his best abilities. Like, you should be using this a lot when you build everything up. You should be planning on, see, I get it instantly and then I can use it. Like, I get to 100 and then I can use it instantly. Whereas with the other one, I build it up to 100. Oh, it's a bad example because I already have it. Wait. I build it up. See, it's already on 100, and now I can use it. A second after I actually needed it. And even though I reloaded, even though I'd already killed this guy, gotten this guy, hit this guy a little bit, you know, even though this guy was already low, this guy was dead, that guy was low, I got it to 100, still had time on before I could use it, you know. Thankfully, that's getting removed, so that it goes down to 6 seconds. Stranger's getting some pretty nice buffs. He's getting like an extra 2 shots and 2 extra bullets. I think they didn't really need to give him the 2 extra bullets. I think he would have been fine. No, I mean the 2 extra damage. I think it would have been fine with the 2 extra bullets. But you know, Strange has been in a bad spot for quite a while recently, so you know maybe this could be quite nice for him. But Invis and Team Up is still probably going to be used, but it makes all of that much more interesting, you know? There might actually be a use for hood team up, because at the moment all I really use is if the point is like right here, my spawn is here, and I'm coming back from spawn because we need to contest. You know, I'll use the hood team up instead of the strange one because I can place it down, get a portal, get 2 demons immediately. You know, and this it buffs my like the cooldown on the portal. Like it's a short cooldown with while you're in the radius, you know. And so that could be an interesting idea. Enemies in the portal could be slowed, and hell, even maybe instead of making entirely new abilities, what if they just make some of these team ups regular abilities? That could be an interesting idea. These are already in the game. You know, when they go to introduce new team ups, say they give Magic a different one, they're like, what should we do? What should we remove? Both they say they buffed the team up with Hood, and that it's actually more viable than just one scenario. You know, say they're both from equal levels. They're like, oh, but like, what would players prefer? What would they prefer to have? I know. What if we just make one an actual ability? Keep the other one as a team up for the moment. Make this one an ability. That could be interesting. That could be such a cool idea. Instead of giving new abilities to old characters, they could give old characters old team ups as permanent abilities when they introduce new ones. You know, that way you keep the team ups everyone likes. Don't do it for the ones nobody likes. Like, got this fucking Punisher team up. I loved when this was removed. I was so happy, and now it's back. And I don't think he gets the infinite ammo anymore. Like, yeah, I had to reload. But still, this guy is insane. He is so good right now. But they decided to give him his team up back with Rocket. Like, why? Just why? Why would you do this? And they actually made the Star-Lord. They made the Star-Lord Adam one better because now you can. It's sort of like the Rocket one from last season and stuff like that. You place it down and then you die, and you don't need to go up here as a ghost and then go here, and the enemies are following you and they're just waiting for you. Now you can just respawn at the end of the map, wait for your team, go back in. Or you can place it down, say you die on the point, you need to get back in, you place it near the point, you die, now you're back on the point. Yeah? They made it even better. This used to be an old team up, they just made it even better. So yeah, it's sort of crazy, but you know, if they made these old team ups regular abilities, that could be quite a cool idea. So I guess this is less about whether she'd be the new hero, because to be honest, I've sort of rambled a little bit. I do that a lot. This would be less about whether she's the new hero. I'll still title it the same way. It'll be less about whether she's the new hero, more just like, what if these old heroes got new abilities? And what if they got abilities they already had but permanently? Like, I don't think they should keep this. I don't think they should give this as a regular ability as Star-Lord. The other one's kind of annoying. I never really used this, to be honest. Like, yeah, it can be really annoying, but I always prefer the other one just because it's nicer in my opinion. But this could be an interesting ability. this could be an interesting ability as well, just to have as a normal one. But the literal character that can teleport using the stepping discs doesn't get this as an ability. It's crazy to me. It's actually insane. Like, put this as something that lasts 2 seconds and has a 15-second cooldown. Like, I wouldn't care if it has a long cooldown. 30 seconds is quite insane, but even if it has a 15-second cooldown, it's another ability. It's something good. It's lore accurate. It's something that works with the character. It could be really useful. Help with help with engages. Help with getting out. Help with bad engages. It helps a lot, you know. And like I said, maybe they could do that black cat idea as well. You know, maybe they could do a similar thing with this. I think this is unlikely, but if they were to give her a new ability or something like that, and you know, this would be the one to give. This would be much nicer to have, in my opinion. Um, because it's just cooler. Like, it fixes a lot more of the things. I don't think you really, while the engage thing does annoy me a little bit, like when they run away and the engage just kind of buns, so I can let them run away. You know, while that is annoying and while the other one could be quite a cool idea, I think if they had to choose between the two, um, or if I had to choose between the two, give me that. That would be so nice as an ability for Magic. That would be so nice. Why this isn't an ability to begin with, I have no idea. But this would be so cool. So cool. That fixes more issues than the other one. Like, yeah, they can still get away from you. Hell, they could possibly even get away from you easier if you travel backwards and they're still traveling forwards, you know. But it solves so many more issues. And I think, you know, with the amount of things everybody else can do, nowadays when they release, like Black Cat being able to do basically everything, um, it would be nice having an ability like that, you know, but I've rambled for too long. My throat's dry. 30 minutes has passed. Let's just call it here. If you ever did watch this, that'd be nice, you know? No, that's quite nice. I'm glad you did, even if you didn't get this far. But, yeah. See you, I guess.